You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to Watson's Playbook, episode number 60 here. Riding solo this week as I've been in bed real early. Been waking up at midnight to go to work. Running a big route this week. We'll get into more of that in a little bit, though, so Jeff's not be able to join me today. We got a lot to talk about, guys. There's lots to cover. That news that's happened over this week. I guess you can probably guess, if you haven't been hiding under a rock, what the spotlight this week is, and that is obviously Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, as some of that drama gets dealt with as Aaron Rodgers is back with Green Bay and back into camp, and he's going to play this season. So we got that to figure out. We got some major headlines this week as well. That could probably be their spotlight of the week. Any other week, but let's go jump into it here. Like I said, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers have agreed to play together for at least one last year. Rodgers has agreed to come back, and the Packers have given up a little bit to kind of help him come back. They have given up some things, so they've canceled the last year of his contract. So Aaron Rodgers will play this season and still have next year to go on the contract, but they canceled the third year left, so it leaves Aaron Rodgers an out at the end of the season. So they've both agreed to come back for one more year, and at the end of the year, we will look at everything, and if you want out still, it's kind of seemed like that the Packers will trade him to kind of where he wants to go. Another interesting tidbit to all this is they went out and got Randall Cobb. Aaron Rodgers said, I want you to go out and get Randall Cobb. So we did. And it's kind of confusing to me because, look, Randall Cobb was great in his heyday. He was fantastic for us. We let him go. He was aging player. He played pretty good for Dallas a couple years ago. He was with Houston. Didn't really do much with them last season. He's always hurt. And we just drafted Amari Rodgers in the third round from Clemson, a really good slot wide receiver to be the future guy. And really was hoping to see him take those starting reps this year. But we went out and got Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is back, and it looks like he'll be back. And then this is because of Aaron Rodgers. They asked the GM, Brian, today that was this to please Aaron Rodgers, and he basically said yes. In most part, it was. But he still thinks Randall Cobb can play. He could probably give us some left in the tank, but I wouldn't guarantee he's going to be healthy for all 17 games now. So that's the interesting tidbit into this. Aaron Rodgers had his media day. We'll get into that in a little bit here. Yesterday, and talked to the media for about 30 to 40 minutes, kind of going scorched earth on the Green Bay Packers. But this is an interesting thing that we've never seen before in sports. We've seen players get a farewell, right? You know, Dirk Nowitzki got a farewell tour. Players that are great, you know, Derek Jeter, Peyton Manning, and players like that announce that this is my last year, and they play one more year. They play that season. They kind of get that farewell tour, and because it's just respect for who they are, respect for the player. And Dirk Nowitzki got shout-outs in other stadiums and stuff like that. It's really cool to see that when your superstar goes out, that he's appreciated by the sport. But we've never seen it like this, because I can 99.9% guarantee you that Aaron Rodgers is not coming back next year unless the Green Bay Packers win a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers will be gone. We will trade him to where he wants to go. My predicament would be we trade him to Denver. And look, I called this. I need to repost that episode because I called it. I said when we drafted Jordan Love, Green Bay only wanted Aaron Rodgers for 2 more years. In the discussion, that was the plan. So if you ask me who won in this debate or who won in this situation, it's definitely the Green Bay Packers won this situation. They got their quarterback back to play. He played like MVP. You have a chance to win a Super Bowl this season if all goes well. And but then you're done with him after this. And this is what you planned on in the beginning. So Green Bay definitely won this. Now, but we've never seen where a player is going to basically play 1 more year and then move on, go to a different team and play. He's not coming back, Green Bay, so you might as well go ahead and prepare for that. Prepare for this being the last season and then have him go play somewhere else. My question is, will you boo him this season? I think he will get booed. I think it's a mixed reaction between fans of the Green Bay Packers. Going online, I am on some Facebook pages of Packer fan bases, and I help run a page. Not that I really do much for it, but there's a lot of mixed feelings in what Aaron Rodgers has done, how Aaron Rodgers has come off during this whole time. The organization, I'd say it's 50-50. Some are really on the Aaron Rodgers side, and some are on the organization side. So it's 50-50. And that's tough. I think he will get booed this year. We'll see what happens. I don't think he will. When he goes somewhere next year, I don't know how many Green Bay Packer fans will be rooting for him. When Brett Favre left, it was because he decided he was going to retire and come back, and didn't know if he wanted to play. And Green Bay was ready to move on. We got rid of him. I was mad at the time at the organization for getting rid of the legend himself, Brett Favre. And I rooted for Brett Favre when he left. I was still a Green Bay fan first, but wherever Brett went, I rooted for him to go and be successful. I won't do that with Aaron Rodgers. I just won't. When he goes somewhere next year, I won't root for his success. The way he's acted over the offseason, his arrogance has turned me off on his character, his leadership, and everything else. Now, I'm still an Aaron Rodgers fan. I will always be a fan of watching him play. He's a great quarterback. He's probably the best. He is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen throw the football. Period. In a discussion, you can't really argue that. You can argue his success and only one championship ring, but if you watch him play, he was special. And that's the same way with Brett Favre. He was special. When Brett Favre left, it hurt me dearly. And it'll hurt me when Aaron Rodgers leaves, but the way he's acted, the way he's gone about all of this, I think it is going to hurt him when it comes to the fan base. So this is something that we haven't seen before in sports, and it's interesting to be a fan of it. And every day I kind of go back and forth of, I can see some of these points where he's coming from, and then at other days, and organization's really done a good job by him, especially this new GM, and getting this team 13-3, adding a great head coach, and putting us a chance to win. Look, we were one of the most winningest organizations in the NFL history, and you can't argue that. We've been successful into the playoffs year after year. We own our division usually and win our division, so we've been successful, and it's kind of weird that Aaron Rodgers thinks he can go somewhere else and be as successful with that team. But I think he gets booed. That's my next question was the fan base. I think he gets booed. My my other input in this is will the organization finally give Rodgers some input? Now, I do agree. Look, and we've had this conversation before, and it really boils down to of how much control do you think a player should have? And once a player gets to a certain point in their ability to play the game and their leadership and respect that they earn, I do believe they have a voice at the table. They have a voice of, hey, maybe we should keep this guy, or maybe we should draft this position this year, or maybe something like that. Not full say, not have the final say in anything, but to say, yeah, this guy did good for me. I bring him back and this kind of things. I do kind of agree with that. But to have Rodgers out here thinking that we can just keep everybody, and he came out and listed like 12 people that we should have kept, and he didn't agree with letting go. And some I agree with, Micah Hyde and Charles Woodson and stuff like that. Okay, I can see that. But then he names all these people. I'm like, he can't keep them all, and that's why you have a GM. The GM's job is to win now and to think about the future. He has to think about the future, and that future is past Aaron Rodgers. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers can handle that very well. Didn't handle the Jordan Love pick very well, and I think he'll sit here and talk till he's blue about how he has no problem with that. But ultimately he did, and that's what fueled him last year is to kind of get revenge, not against his team, but against the organization of saying, hey, look, you think I'm done? Well, I'm going to show you and prove to you that I am not done. And I think Aaron Rodgers is coming off very arrogant in this. I think he's a very arrogant person. He's coming off as a person who thinks that his own crap doesn't stink. And he sounded so arrogant the other day when he was talking up there, saying that no one comes to Green Bay but just to play with him. They're coming to play with him. Period. So it just comes off very arrogant, and it's coming off unlikable. The perception, I think, of even people. This is a question I want to ask those that aren't fans of Green Bay, because maybe I'm too dialed into it. Maybe I'm too close to it with my emotions in it. But I want to know what y'all have to say about Aaron Rodgers, because from what I've heard and seen from outside of the fan base, that most people don't really like Aaron Rodgers. He comes off as kind of a diva. He comes off as, like I said, arrogant, very, very arrogant. And look, there's a difference in being cocky and being arrogant. But he's just coming off very, very arrogant, thinking that his own crap doesn't stink, and that's just the way it comes off. The biggest question going into it now is, how will this affect the team? Look, Aaron Rodgers could come out and play really well. I'm guaranteeing he will be playing really well, and he has to be all in, because if he comes out and doesn't play very well, who's going to want to trade for him? You already stack up the fact that he's going to be 38 years old at the end of the season. Stack up the fact that he's also got some injuries. He's with his collarbone and his legs and stuff like that. He's got injuries. And he's 38 years old. Now he can still play, and he was the MVP of the year last year, and the best quarterback in the league last season. That's not even questionable. But so he'll come out and he will play ball, and he will play it at a very high level. Will he be MVP again this year? I don't know. That'd be awesome. And as long as he's playing at a high level, the Green Bay Packers organization has a chance to win it all. But in the locker room, how are the players taking this? We already know Devontae Adams is on his side, and David Bakhtiari is on his side, and you can't really have this affect the locker room too much, where teammates are taking sides, because that's not a winning formula whatsoever. And this will take an effect in the locker room, and hopefully it comes out all positive. And we can move forward together as a team, playing high football, and see where we go from here. My other question for Rodgers is, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, which he's going to, how much control will he get to where he goes? There's been rumors about him going to Denver, being traded to Denver. He really wants to go to Denver. I could see him going to Denver. That they need a quarterback. Their quarterback, Drew Lock, is garbage. Sorry, Jeff, but he is bad. I could see him going there next year. But I don't think Green Bay is just going to trade him to Denver and Denver be like, we'll give you a second-round pick. No, Green Bay is going to want something back for him. So we're still going to have that year of control. It's going to be walking that fine line of getting him to a place where he wants to go, because it's not in Green Bay. Even though he says everything he says he wants long-term stability. Well, we gave him an extension in his contract. He turned it down. He said he wants to finish his career in Green Bay. Well, we gave you an extension to do so, and you turned it down. Giving you that extension would have forced Green Bay to trade Jordan Love and get rid of him, proving to you that you are our future still for the next couple of years, and you turned it down. He comes out and says he's not the victim. But everything he said yesterday made him seem like the victim. He will not be back next season, guys, unless we win it all. And that's it. That's plain and simple. No, if we get to the NFC Championship and we lose again, he's not coming back. He's looking for a team to next season, I believe, that can win it all. And I think Denver's a quarterback away. They have a good defense. They get a good offense. One team, though, I would like him. I would love for him to go to. Would be the Washington football team. And they don't have a quarterback. There's one. Two, they have an amazing defense. Aaron Rodgers on that offense and that defense would win a Super Bowl. And it would be great because living in Texas, I would still get to see the Cowboys have to play Aaron Rodgers twice a year, even more. They'd play him twice a year, maybe in the playoffs. It would be funny. My buddies would not like that very much, but I would like to see him go there or Denver. But like I said, I'm not going to root for him next year. I just don't think I have it in me to. My frustration with him might go away, and I might still root for him, but we'll have to see, because it's right now he's not coming off as a person that's very likable, and it's a false narrative to why he wants to leave. Look, players leave, players come, and players go. That's in the discussion. Aaron Rodgers, you can't have everybody, you can't keep everybody. Some players you let go are going to turn out really great in other organizations. Some players you draft are going to turn out great. Some players you draft aren't. It's just the way it is. Now, could they have done more to add more to the offense over the last couple of years? They probably could have, yes. But this wide receiver core is sneaky good. We got Devontae Adams, which who knows if he's going to re-up or not. But this might be the last dance for both of them. They both posted the last dance picture of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, kind of giving a hint that this is the last year. So, and Rodgers is very passive-aggressive and arrogant, and he holds grudges, and that's just the way he is. From his actions and everything else, and I wish he would have come out over the offseason and said exactly what he wanted, but that wasn't it. I'm surprised he gave such a candid answer to all the questions yesterday, and a real answer. I appreciate that from him, instead of hiding behind hiding behind the mic or hiding behind the media, saying that the media overblew everything, but they didn't. And but some Packer fans are still so naive, thinking everything's fine. But so we'll see what happens. I'm just hoping for one more good year. Green Bay Packers just signed a veteran offensive lineman who played all 16 games last year and didn't allow one sack, so we're beefing up the offensive line, which is already fantastic. Bakhtiari will be back this year. I don't know if he's going to start game one. We will have a good team. I'm really excited to see this defense under Barry, and coming from the Rams and changing up how we get to the quarterback and play defense. And I'm hoping we can be a top 5 defense, and make a strong run for the Super Bowl. And I'm hoping if this is the last dance and we win it all, then we can kind of all forget about this and all will be good. But it's going to take winning it all to keep Aaron Rodgers here, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You can be naive about it. You can think what you want about it. I called this 2 years ago. This is the Aaron Rodgers last season with Green Bay. Now, I didn't call it like this, but I pretty much called it. So I'm going to take that as a win and also a loss for my team. And it's all going to fall on Jordan Love's shoulders, on whether he's able to come in after Aaron Rodgers and be good or not. I'm just not ready for this quarterback. I've never seen a downfall from a quarterback play. When I was growing up, I liked Green Bay. I've had Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. I've never seen that years and years of bad quarterback play, but I guess I'm about to witness it after this year. Hopefully not, but we'll see. If you're going to ask me a question about this and who won this between Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, it's definitely Green Bay. They definitely won it. Aaron Rodgers is still back here. He's still playing for Green Bay. He hasn't been traded like he wanted. They asked him, do you think the organization will give in to some of your requests and listen to you? He said he doesn't know. Well, that was the whole reason you did all this. And you still don't have those answers at the end of the day. That means you lost. But, all right, guys, we're going to go into the headlines of the week. And we got some interesting headlines this week to get into. So, first of all, this first one's not the biggest one, but I just wanted to put it up there. Number one, the Cleveland Indians change their name. Drum roll, please. And they named it the Cleveland Guardians. A lot of people don't like it. I thought they were going to go with the Cleveland Spiders. Thought that'd be pretty cool. They come up with some cool designs for that. But the Guardians, I don't hate it. I don't love it. Apparently, it's named after a bridge. These statues on a bridge there in Cleveland. Not a big fan of it. But I think the worst thing here is if they caved into cancel culture and changing their name from the Indians. I think the Indians are a fine name. I don't see any problem with it. And giving in to cancel culture is the real shame here of all of this. And go ask the Indian fans. They don't want to change it. The team was actually named after a Indian that made the team a long, long time ago, and they named the team the Cleveland Indians after him. I can get they changed the Chief Wahoo symbol. I get that. I get why that can be offensive. Okay, I understand. But the Cleveland Guardians. So that's what you got to look forward there to in Cleveland. All right, guys. This next topic has been it's been a barn burner this week. It's been a hot topic, and it's Simone Biles. Okay, guys. Simone Biles claims mental health as she drops out of the team event at the Olympics, and she dropped out of the Olympics altogether, team events and her individual competitions. Well, this has brought up a big uproar, and it's really been kind of two different opinions. There's one that she is brave and a hero for stopping to focus on her mental health, and there's the other one that she quit on her team and country. It's a very hot topic. It's interesting. I don't feel like Simone Biles should be called a hero for this or celebrated for it, But if Simone Biles is dealing with something where to the point where she feels like she can't compete and give 100% to her team, to her country, and do it without risking her health, then Simone Biles did the right thing for herself. They were talking about this on the radio the other day, and I can see it. It's a bad look, right? It's a bad look. It looks like she may just quit and got frustrated, but no one knows the stress that she's dealing with, right? No one other than the other Olympic athletes up there. know the weight of the world that's on her shoulders. No one knows what she's going through. We've all gone through 2020, right? We've all had our own complications with that. You got to add that stress onto it. They moved the Olympics back a year, so now your body's training when it's supposed to be resting. So you add that stress. And not only, and I think a lot of people forget about this, but not only is she dealing with all that, she's dealing with the sexual assault from the gymnastics doctor, Larry Nassar, who she was involved with that and was molested by him. She has all this that she's still going through, that she might not ever get over. And the weight in the world to be perfect. She is the best gymnastics Olympian of all time. There is nobody better than her. So much so, and this part is the BS part, that the judges said you're too good, and we're not going to just give you perfect scores. That's how good she is, right? She does everything so perfectly that they don't think it's fair for the competition, which is total BS, because if she does it perfectly and she makes, the right land and the right moves and does it perfectly, she should get a perfect score, period, end of discussion. But she has all this weight on her shoulders, and if she felt like she couldn't do this and be healthy and give it her all, then I feel like she made the right move. And who are we to have an opinion on who are we to tell her what to do with her body, right? They were talking about it being a vertigo issue where I think it's called the flipsies, the tipsies, something like that. They were talking about how she basically, but when that gymnasts get this sometimes, when you're flipping and rolling all over the place as fast as they do, that it's basically vertigo. And it basically, when you're flipping in the air, you can't tell what's up or what's down. And that can be very dangerous. It can cause severe injuries. If she doesn't know which way's up and down, comes down and lands on her neck, it could kill her. I mean, I'm not being dramatic here. So if all that was going on, and her stress and everything else, then Simone Biles did what she needed to do for her health, and we are not to judge her for that and tear her apart. Who am I to say what's going on in her head? I agree it's a bad look. I agree that the perception of it is that she made it look like she quit. But if she did it because of those issues and her stress and everything else, whatever she's got going on, then she made the right move. And mental health is a serious issue. It's something that a lot of people deal with. A lot of people deal with different things. We all deal with different things in our lives. We all have our own trials. We all take things differently. We all have our own stresses to deal with, whether it be work, whether it be an athlete where all the cameras are on you at all times, whether it be an Olympic gymnast who is out there doing gymnastics for her country with the weight of the country on her shoulders. We all deal with things differently, and mental health is something that's come a long way in us actually acknowledging it. Right back in the day, you were, especially, you look at it for men. When I look at this and I say, if Tom Brady was in the Super Bowl and said, I can't go, guys, I just can't go on my mental health, he would get ripped a new one. In the discussion, there would be no let's give him a break. It's his mental health. He's such a brave hero. No, he would be ripped a new one that he quit on his team. And let's be real here. All right. Simone Biles, who's said she had mental health issues and that she had all these things going on, and it's why she could not perform, is a girl, obviously. And if Tom Brady did this, he's a boy. We hold men to higher standards of just kind of manning up and owning this. And that's true. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is the sad truth out there. And that's why suicide rates in men are a lot higher than women. That's why men feel like sometimes they can't have certain feelings because they'll be told to man up, grow a pair. So it's very interesting, but mental health is definitely a serious issue. You know, I guarantee you we've all been depressed at one point in our life. I know I have. And it's hard to get out of. So I am not going to sit here and have a hot take on judging Simone Biles and telling her that she quit on her team and she's a quitter. I don't see it that way, and neither should you. There is a tennis player that I would say that she doesn't take this as serious as she should, and her name's Naomi Osaka. She started this a couple months ago, where she refused to talk to the media because she claimed it was bad for her mental health. And everyone's like, "Oh, she's so brave." All this stuff. She was actually kicked out of the tournament. They said this is part of being a tennis player, and if you can't abide by the rules, then you cannot play. So she didn't play. And I go back and forth on her because she says, she claims mental health. She doesn't like being in the spotlight. All that focus on her, but she talks to reporters after she wins. What's the difference? She's on the front page in her bathing suit of Sports Illustrated Bikini Edition. What's the difference in answering a question and being in the front page of a magazine and taking pictures in your bikini? In the Olympics, she lost the first round, and there's a certain hallway they have to go out to talk to reporters before they leave. She went out a different hallway across stadium to get away from the reporters, but then later returned to give answers. I think she uses the mental health, and some will use it as a cop-out to get out of things that they, I'm going to claim mental health here, get out of doing this, and people really can't say anything about it, because if they do, then they're jerks. I think she doesn't really understand and grasp the whole seriousness of mental health. But Simone Biles, to me, did what she needed to do for her physical and mental health, and I don't think she should be killed for it. I also don't think she should be called a hero and everything else. But that was a big hot topic this week. So the next headline this week is the NFL, baby, and the NFL is coming back. We've already talked about the NFL with the spotlight of the week so far. Well, this one's kind of interesting. The Deshaun Watson saga continues. Deshaun Watson shows up to Houston Texans camp, and is practicing with the team. Now, he's probably taking third-string snaps and stuff like that, but the NFL has decided that he's at this time to have no restrictions put against him, which is weird. How is this possible? How is this possible that Deshaun Watson has no restrictions right now, and he can go, and if the season were to start tomorrow, he could play? What's taking the NFL so long to do their investigation and make a decision on Deshaun Watson? Deshaun Watson has 25-plus women that came forward saying that he sexually assaulted them. And the NFL hasn't done anything about it. But here, in Major League Baseball, Trevor Bauer has one allegation against him, and the MLB has suspended him until further notice. His teammates don't want anything to do with him. They're talking about boycotting of Trevor Bauer. But the NFL, with over 20-some-odd women against Deshaun Watson, hasn't done anything yet to him. I don't know what is taking so long for them to make up their decision, because the longer they do, the longer the Houston Texans have to deal with him. They wanted to trade him, but I think he's pretty much untradeable at this point. Who wants a quarterback that's going to be suspended probably for a whole year because of these allegations? Maybe Denver. If I was Denver, I'd probably trade for him, let him sit out this year because you don't have a quarterback this year anyways. Get a better draft pick, and if he plays next year, without any of those restrictions. But you're also taking a player that has this against him, and the NFL is taking a pretty hard stance on allegations against women ever since they screwed up the whole Ray Rice debacle. So I'm just interested in what's taking so long for the NFL to step up and do something. Are they waiting for this to go to court? Are they waiting for this to get figured out there first? Because that could be a really long time with over 20-something women that's come forward to say something about Deshaun Watson. And whether this is true or not, it's a bad look for Deshaun Watson. I don't know which side of the fence you sit on. I think that, we did talk about this a long time ago when it first came out. 25 women is a lot of women. To say that they're all wrong is very hard to do. I'm not trying to sit here and accuse Deshaun Watson until proven guilty. It's just not a good look for him, and I don't think it's going to end up very well in the long run for him. Last night, guys, another headline. This is a baseball headline for you. Joey Gallo gets traded to the New York Yankees, and this is a big deal for me because, I'm a Texas Rangers fan. I like Joey Gallo. I think he's a good baseball player. I wouldn't say great. He's a good baseball player. He adds a great bat to the Yankee organization. A left-handed bat, which the Yankees do need, is more left-handed hitters. And he adds just that power. With that lineup that already has power in it, just adds another bat. So, you also are adding a great defensive player. He's got a cannon of an arm. He can play in left, center, or right. He can play first base if you needed him to. But he's got a cannon of an arm. He runs really well, and he's tall and long. So he's kind of the all-around player. Now his batting average is not going to be all that great. And you've got to learn that he's gonna have those ups and downs and those not where he'll go 0-8, and you'll be like, what in the heck? And then he'll have a game where he pops out 2 home runs, and he's hit a home run in 10 straight games. That's just the way Joey Gallo is, and then that's the way he's kind of the perfect player for the new school analytics. This is kind of the guy that you want. He's a guy that's going to either hit a home run or walk. He does walk a lot. So, but it's strikeout or home run with Joey Gallo a lot of the times, and we'll miss him here with Texas. So the Rangers, what they got back is 4 prospects from the New York Yankees. We got a second baseman named Ezekiel Duran. He was the number 6 prospect in the Yankees system. We also got back Josh Smith, which is a shortstop. He was the number 8 in their system. We got back a right-handed pitcher, Glenn Otto, who was the number 20th, and Trevor Hauer. I don't know how you say his last name, but he's a second baseman / outfielder, and he was number 22. So I think this works out for both teams. Look, being a Ranger fan is very difficult. The organization has been poorly run. They don't typically draft well, which we drafted Jack Leiter, who's going to be an ace pitcher for us in a couple of years. We don't develop really well, like LA or the Yankees, and so these guys coming over brings me hope that they are going to be talented and that we got something. If we hit on 1 or 2 of these guys, it's quite a bit. We had other offers on the table. We had an offer from the Blue Jays, I believe, or the Padres that would have sent us probably a better prospect that's better than these 4. It's more highly ranked. But I'd rather have the 4 guys and have more darts at the table instead of just 1. So I like the trade. This is something that needs to happen, that needed to happen last season. It could even happen, but Joey Gallo added some more value to his name this year with how he's playing and how he's hitting the ball, and I'm glad we did it. This is how you rebuild. This Joey Gallo is a win-now player, and the Rangers are probably 3 to 5 years away from that. So the idea is you trade your players that you have that can help teams win now. You get a bunch of prospects, and you build that team to be good in the future when they get called up from AAA and AA and all that stuff to the majors, that they're young and you got your future team. That's how you hope it to pay off. You got to develop them good, which the Rangers don't do, but hopefully they turn that around. We'll have Jack Leiter. We got Young, and now Ezekiel Duran is the third best prospect we have in our organization. So I like to trade. A lot of people are mad about it because they'd rather keep Joey Gallo, but you don't understand you don't understand how rebuild works. It's just not how it works. So I'm glad we did it. There was, articles came out saying that Joey Gallo wants to be a Ranger for the rest of his life. That's fine. That's dandy. But we got to do what's best for us as an organization. Gallo, too, still has to sign a contract with the Yankees. He has 1 or 2 more years, and then they have to sign him to a big contract. He's a Yankees fan growing up, so he could stay there. But I don't think he signs long-term with the Yankees. I don't think he'll fit in there. In New York, you got to be a certain type of player. You got to be able to handle the pressure. When you're 0-8, playing for the Rangers, there's not a lot of pressure on you. Where you're 0-8 and with the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, you're going to get booed. How you handle that pressure? You're going to have to shave your beard. You're going to have to live up to a certain standard. I don't think Joey Gallo wants that. He doesn't like the spotlight. He didn't want to bat third or fourth in our lineup. He didn't want that pressure on him. So the Yankees, you could still put him in the sixth hole and fifth hole maybe and get some runs out of him and hit 3-run shots and stuff like that. You get guys on before him, but he doesn't want to come in and be your third and fourth hole hitter to have all that pressure on him. So I don't think he's going to fit in well with Gallo, and I don't think he signs back with them for a long term. I could be wrong, but that's just my feeling on it. I don't think he's a New York type of guy. How awesome would it be, though, if we traded him, took the Yankees prospects, and then he came back to the Rangers in a couple years? That'd be pretty sweet. The last headline this week we got for you is some college football drama. All right, so Oklahoma and the Longhorns are looking to leave the Big 12 and try to go to the SEC. This is huge. This is big for both conferences. Big 12, it's a negative hit. It's a big loss if both Texas and Oklahoma leave. They're losing their 2 best teams that draw the biggest crowds. That is a fact. The UT and Oklahoma, they're all the biggest crowds, and they'll be scrambling to add new schools that can add some of that crowds back and add some of some flair back to the conference. They'll be scrambling to find those. And they're talking about BYU and Utah and stuff like that. I just don't think that does it. This could be the death of the Big 12. This could end their conference, and those teams would have to go join other places. So we'll see what happens there. But it's not good for them at all. And the SEC, it's a positive note. You're adding OU, who's been successful over the last couple of years, has had a successful run, and who can probably compete with some of those SEC teams and battle with them. And then you got UT's perception, and the name is bigger than their success, where they think they're all this and that, but they really haven't done anything to prove it. So, but they bring a lot of fans, they bring a lot of viewers, they're going to bring a lot of money to it. My question is, why does Texas want to go? They didn't do that great in the Big 12, okay, where the teams are easier to beat. They didn't win that consistently enough. So I don't know why you would go to the SEC where you're not going to win a lot probably. You're not going to get things how you want it. You're not going to have final say in issues and things. You're not going to be the big dog there. You're the big dog on campus in the Big 12. You're not going to be the big dog in the SEC. It's not going to happen. So my question is why, and my only answer is they would want to compete with the big boys to finally say, hey, if we do beat these guys, it'll give us a better chance to make a national championship, voting wise, and where they get put in the playoffs. But this is very bad news to the Big 12. Is not good for them at all. The TCU, and I'm a TCU fan. Their football team has been bad, and they'll probably always be bad, and they'll have a flare here and there. But you're looking at TCU, you're looking at Baylor, you're looking at Texas Tech, you're looking at SMU. You're adding, those Big 12 teams. So we'll see what happens with them. But it's not a good thing for the Big 12, and the SEC will just get more money and add on to the SEC name. All right, guys. I think that is all I got for you this week as far as headlines and spotlight of the week. We covered a lot of different events, from the Olympics to the NFL to the baseball trade. That trade was the biggest trade that happened last night. There's been some other small little trades, but nothing really to announce. So the trade deadline is actually tomorrow. We'll see if anything drops tonight. But big trade, Gallo leaving the Rangers. Let me know if you have any questions. If you have any questions for me about Aaron Rodgers and what I think of him, if I didn't already answer that in this podcast today. Look, guys, we got some big news coming still. We're going to break that next week. Me and my buddy Jeff, we're going to break that this next week. Feel free to email us still. Any questions you've got, feel free to comment in our Facebook page. Feel free to share the show. We appreciate you guys coming on and listening. And before I let you go, though, we still got what's in my locker this week. So like I said, we got the big change coming up next week. We told you there was going to be a website coming too, so that'll probably break next week, hopefully as well. We'll put that out there, and we'll break the other news as well coming to the podcast. I've been working a lot of hours this week. I've been going in at midnight, like I said. I've been running a pretty difficult route. It's the second biggest route we have. But I'm out there running and getting the job done. I just got to go in at midnight to do it. So it's been a little hard when I have to do that because the wife has to take care of the kids at night, put them all to bed, feed them dinner by herself. And so it can be tough for her, and then me having them work those hours is horrible. But next week we'll go back to normal, hopefully, and go from there. I got vacation coming up in a couple of weeks. Yes, so after next week I will be on vacation. I don't know what we're going to do yet. We've contemplated on going down to Austin. We've contemplated on just a staycation. And we've contemplated on actually going to Utah. I don't think that one's going to work because that'll cost too much money. But this is kind of a vacation right before the school starts. So school starts the week after. So we're interested to see what we're going to do. And looking forward to a much-needed vacation from work. Excuse me. I need to start drinking some water when I do these by myself because it dries out the voice. All right, guys. Look forward to the big breaking news next week for this podcast. Look forward to the website that we've already talked about. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And take care. God bless.